Primary fire damage reduced from 30 to 25. No changes to Freya then, guys? Why would you do this? Okay, why does Freya need to be able to 2-tap my fucking knees and murder me? Why does that need to happen, guys? Come on. Come on, please. Please, logic. You can do it. I believe in you. If you 2-tap my knees, at least hit me once with a primary fire and get to kill me. Don't just 2-tap me in the toe beans and murder me instantly. New junk meta where good junk players start Kobeing traps at the tank from 40 meters away. So it appears that you guys need mental health support because people, I know what happens when patch notes get released, right? You all lose your collective shit and I have to piece it back together brick by brick. It is a late night stream, so I won't be yelling into the microphone, but I will be chilling out with you guys. What are the general opinions? Somebody said Freya changes are weird. Don't give me spoilers on exactly what's happened, but what's the general consensus? Lost my shit because I hate the Sigma change. Made me so sad. No life weaver buff sad. I'm waiting for you to tell me what to think, my man. Random changes for the most part. Okay. So let's skip the blurb. Better together challenges. Who cares? Junkrat loot hunt. Who cares? New tag improvements. We made several enhancements to the new tag for newly acquired cosmetic items. Who cares? Drives. Drive progress can now be earned in comp and stadium. Still don't care. Okay, let's do hero updates. I don't think anything else is actually relevant to me. Stadium stuff continues to be something that I just am uninterested in general. The Freya change is the one you want to look forward to. Is it bad? Are the bans going to continue until morale improves? Is it that bad? They got to be nerfs, right? They got to do something. What have they done? Buff? No, they haven't buffed it. No. What did they do? What did they do? No. The meta has been in a steady state for most of season 17, so we're using the mid-season patch to take a look at the less desirable perks. Words are hard, man. Make adjustments based on hero ban trends, and tweak a few heroes in reaction to the season 17 changes in the more powerful damage roll passive, where you could have just not done it. With season 18 including many perk changes, we want to bring up a handful of our least picked / less powerful perks. They are competitive options that cut through your standard gameplay loop. As players have gotten fairly settled in their perk choices on particular heroes, some of these changes are beyond where we would have started for perk balance in season 15. Over time we've learned what's necessary for perks to stand out as an interesting choice and make a marked change in how you approach engagements. Below you'll find some adjustments that are related to hero ban trends or the current meta. Orisa has seen her matchup spread shift since the introduction of hero bans, particularly when it comes to facing beam-based weapons. Being able to dodge heroes like Zarya has brought up her popularity and performance. One could argue whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. So we're pulling back a bit on her survivability and cooldown cycle. Excellent. So if Zarya is not banned, Orisa is now not an option at all. Yeah, we just balance around the bans, and if the bans don't come in, this character's now not an option. It's this great thing. Like, when Zarya is in the game, Orisa gets deleted. Because we're going to pull back the survivability for not balancing around it anymore. Another saying the quiet part out loud, in my opinion, right? Don't you think? Like, that's pretty... what are we doing? For Freya and Tracer, we're pulling back slightly on their damage capabilities and attempting to find a good middle ground for their current standing in the damage roster. Zen also sees his Harmony Orb healing increased, as it has been lacking in an environment with a more powerful damage roll passive. Ooh, that's a good one. I'm happy about that, and that's what I was asking for. The maths works out that in order to be able to heal somebody for 100 health the same speed as they did before, comparatively to Anna, the same comparative speed to heal somebody up for 100 health, that is, Zen would need 42 healing per second. So 42 is what I'm looking for. That's not the damage roll passive, that's a damage roll passive plus the higher health pool, so that's my maths. Among a stream where everyone makes a balance patch and you need to figure out who the imposter is, 4.5 million views. What? Get the streamers on. Tell me one nerf to Orisa now. Okay, sure, let's go. Tank D.Va. Number of rockets reduced from 8 to 7. This is the heavy rockets major perk. Impact damage reduced from 7 to 5. Explosion damage radius increased from 14 to 22. That's quite a lot. That's going to be a bigger change than you actually think in terms of the actual area. So 8 over 7. Oh, it's a 12.5% damage increase. Explosion radius increase. That's a pretty big buff, isn't it? Projectile gravity increase. We'll have to check that. Let's check the projectile gravity. Oh, what? Oh, there you go. I was like, they're not falling off at all. So they're hit scan, let's be honest. Yeah, they're just hit scan. I'm gonna be honest. It doesn't really matter at all. It's just more damage on them. Sure, like they're not as spammable long range, but realistically, if you just aim at the head, right? If I aim at the head in this range, I'm still gonna be hitting them with it. So like, I thought it'd be a lot worse so that you couldn't use it long range, but that's, I mean, yeah, it's still doing full damage there. Okay, the radius change, you can consider the impact as a point, and then radius only effectively changes the length of the line connecting the point to the closest point of the hitbox. I actually quite like the AoE for 6v6. What do you guys think? Like, I'd rather it did the same damage, right, or less damage. But as an adaptation, for D.Va to be able to... Oh, fucking hell, that was a lot. Yeah, so 3 meters around here. Matrix perk better still? Yeah, of course it is, but... Ooh, that's a lot of damage. I mean, that's to the edge of their hitbox, though. They get you already winning, want to win harder? Yeah, it doesn't really give you much of a choice, does it? The Matrix perk is just one of those that is just so good that there's really no quibbling. It just kind of is what it is. Yeah, 25% is a lot. It's a lot, man. You can get so much. And the shields are nice, and the survivability is really needed on D.Va with the DPS passive, I'm going to be honest. So, like, it's hard to justify heavy rockets. So it hasn't been used, so people are picking it. But it's only not being used because people would rather blow people up more often, and this is already enough to blow someone up. I mean, I can do enough damage to kill 2 people during the micros rush. So it's like, how much is normal micros in terms of damage at the moment? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, it's only a 20 damage buff, but man, does D.Va need more sharp damage? That's so bad. I don't want more sharp damage, right? The intent of it appears to be to have it more as a the explosion damage increase and the explosion radius increase. Clearly the intent of this is to make it more of a main tanky type ability. They want the shields to be the off tank, and they want the micros to be the main tank style. And I'm glad that Blizzard are finally there to what makes a main tank is AoE damage like that. Like, this is what I suggested for our perks if we're ever going to make D.Va a main tank. Orisa armor health reduced to 300. Oh, that's not as bad. Yeah, I thought it'd be a lot worse than that. 300 is probably reasonable. Cooldown increased from 6 to 7 seconds on the Javelin. Sure, I mean, like, the only other changes... The thing is, they don't really know what to do with Orisa and Malga and Roadhog, so any changes they make tend to be micro changes because they're not seeing picks. Because there's no real, like, playstyle or strategy changes they want to do. So every single time they just make micro buffs or micro changes, and they all add up, and then the character starts being played. Currently in the Brawl cycle, we're on Ram and Hazard, right? It's pretty much a Ram Hazard meta in 5v5, isn't it? If I'm not out of the loop. And this just kind of like removes Orisa as a counter swap to them. Well, it doesn't remove it, it just makes it a lot worse, obviously. Endless Orisa cycle? It is an endless Orisa cycle, yeah. It gets Orisa out of my games that are positive? Yeah, but it's so bleedingly obvious, Greed, that they don't know what they're doing with that. Like, they don't have anything to do with her, I think is the thing. Overcharge gains increased from 50 to 100% for the charge perk. Sure. So yeah, the Reinhardt, I didn't really have an opinion on this. I think Reinhardt this is the win more perk, definitely, because if you get that charge, you're 100% happy. It's definitely a fishing perk. I don't like the playstyle of Reinhardt fishing with charges. I'd rather be actually able to gain space, but DPS passive exists, so Reinhardt's one of the most affected by that because he actually has to get to the space and he needs more resources. By default, he is the most greedy tank, always has been, because he needs stuff in order to be able to swing. He can be quite win more-ish, which is why Reinhardt was a lot healthier before the DPS passive, when his health could swing very low very fast and he had a lower total health pool, so he could get insta-kill quite fast, but then again he could go infinite a little bit more easily. Now he can't go infinite at all because he's taking 15% less healing, so realistically he basically can't ever swing. So he's a lot more feast or famine in the way that he either has enough health to run over the enemy team and assassinate people and like do these charge gambits, or he does nothing really quickly. Increase the amount of solo play / dive Ryan style because of charge cancel is even more of a reason to full send angles instead of frontlining. Yeah, 100%. And I just think Ryan's kind of like rocking a hard place right now. I don't think there is a healthy Reinhardt with DPS passive. I don't think that really exists because we've basically thrown out the idea of balancing healing with the DPS passive at the same time. I think the DPS passive would probably be balanced at around 10 and then like 15 on DPS, 10 on tanks, in terms of the percent healing reduction. That would be where healing needs to be in order for it to be balanced in general. But at 15 and 30, that is just way out of whack. And Reinhardt feels the most from it. It's not that I didn't think sustain and healing needed to be hit. It was the 2 or 3 sustain healers needed to be hit. Like Anna needed to be hit. Like Juno needed to be hit. Kiri needed to be hit. And if you just get the AJK triangle, maybe Baptiste, you would have been fine. But instead of doing that, what we did is we nerfed everyone, and then we slowly rebuffed Mercy, and we rebuffed Zen, and we rebuffed Brig. All of the healers that actually weren't oppressive in their ability to sustain. So we're slowly getting back into a place where we are more healthy, but still healing is more useless than I would like it to be. It's a stupid mechanism that brings nothing to the game. The thing I was thinking earlier is that when we went into Overwatch 2, right, supports, they had no damage. They had a lot of healing. They had a lot of utility. And they went into 5v5 and they felt really oppressed by 5v5, right? So they went into 5v5 and it was awful because there were people coming at them everywhere. So Blizzard were like, okay, cool. We'll bring up your DPS capabilities to the point where you can compete and do angles and stuff like that, because you need to do the angles yourself now. So all the supporty support quit because the angular supports are here. And now they're saying, well, you can't have everything, otherwise DPS can't do anything. So we'll just like cut off the heal portion. And now instead we have a DPS category that DPS is, a support category that DPS is, and a tank category that DPS is. And I'm like, where's my video game, man? Where's my video game? Sigma barrier reduced from 2 to 1 second. No compensatory nerfs. Double shield is back, boys. And it feels just as bad as it always did. Oh, yeah, that's a little bit too much control. Don't get me wrong, like, we experiment with it, but we don't do it seriously, right? We actually experimented with this last week, just to throw it in, see what happens kind of thing for our pugs. And we found 1 second to feel awkwardly oppressive and not really necessary. Like, going from 1.5 to 1 second isn't that much more enjoyment for the Sigma, but it's a lot more bad for other people. I said early on in Overwatch 2 that the devs were scared of making Sigma good, because the moment Sigma becomes good, people kind of realize how oppressive poke is in a one-tank environment. Maybe we're going to realize that now. Massive Impact is absolute horseshit that should have not been in the game in the first place, and it was actually removed from the game originally. Do you know why it was removed from the game, everyone? Take one guess as to why it was removed from the game. Because it shouldn't have been there in the first place. So they just put a perk there. They already have the code for it. RNG bullshit. Yes, I love being stunned for 3 seconds because a Sigma happened to chuck a rock in my vague direction. We were like, why is this in the game? Come on, guys, love what are we doing? Yes. Winston, bonus damage to buildable objects increased to 100%. They're going to continue micro buffing Short Circuit until Winston is a barrier destroyer more than he is an enemy destroyer. Sure, like, it's fine. Rapid fire primary fire damage penalty reduced from 15 to 10. I feel like 15 was a little bit high. 10, it's quite a big buff to that. The side grade is Sidewinder that's also being nerfed at the same time. Yeah, I think like rapid fire is going to be default now. Sidewinder being nerfed is a good thing in my opinion. I think the knockback on Coach Gun never really was a problem. Like, it was cool for movement, but like 20% was a bit too much. It's the same with Lucio Boop perk, right? Like, why are we increasing the number that we've reduced before just for funsy? The thing is, Coach Gun kind of gets you to go, if you're hit by Coach Gun, you're going away anyway, right? Like, you are going away anyway, so like, I don't consider it a big nerf. It's definitely a big nerf to the bad feeling of getting hit by Coach Gun. Like, Coach Gun sucks as an ability in general, because it's just like, you get your high ground and then you have to wait for Coach Gun to come back, then you're really rooted in the high ground, exactly the same as Outburst once it comes back. So yeah, I don't consider that and either of these to be end of the world. They're probably positive on the way of Sidewinder. This is probably neutral. This is a good balance by the looks of it. Though I am a bit worried about the amount of damage you can crap out with it. Bastion ult cost reduced by 7%. I don't care. Custer was like, I've done my thing. I spent a year on the balance team, and the first buff from me came through. I've decreased Bastion's size, and he's not seeing play. Fuck. Produces ult charge. Maybe. The trouble with artillery is it's a terrible ultimate, and it never should have been replaced in the first place because the other ult was strictly better. Artillery's just, yeah, it's not good. Secretly Giga Broken? Yeah, no, I think he's one that lags behind. Don't get me wrong. I do think he's okay in this situation right now. But I think they're responding to the fact that he hasn't got a great pick rate. Okay, so we get to Freya finally. Primary fire damage reduced from 30 to 25. Max ammo increased from 12 to 15. So no changes to Freya. No changes to Freya then, guys. We stay spamming. Why? Why would you do this? Okay, why does Freya need to be able to 2-tap my fucking knees and murder me? Why does that need to happen, guys? Come on. Come on, please. Please, Logic. You can do it. I believe in you. If you 2-tap my knees, at least hit me once with a primary fire and to kill me. Don't just 2-tap me in the toe beans and murder me instantly. Why would you reduce the damage? I would actually be more positive about this if they just increased the damage or increased the ammo and just left it. I think this is actively bad, right? Reduce the bloom, increase the M1 projectile speed, reduce the bolt damage, so 2 bolts, a couple of left click kills. I think 1 left click's fine, honestly. I think literally 1 left click is absolutely fine. One headshot, 1 body shot should kill. No doubt, absolutely fine with that. And then by reducing the damage at the same time, you reduce how effective it is against tanks. I do have the concern that doing that would make it so that you're much more likely to use it on tanks. Realistically, what you do to people if you had to have 1 headshot, 1 body, you start fishing for headshots, wouldn't you? And then you commit on confirmed to the body shot, wouldn't you? Terrible. Hanzo, base projectile size increased from 0.1 to 0.25 meters. Okay. Quite tight hitbox on these. I'm not doing a funny gotcha thing. I'm just testing it. See, the thing is, hitbox sizes for Hanzo are one of these where it's like, it's going to make it unfun to play against in kind of like the worst version. The thing with projectile sizes is you have to add the hitbox size around the character to the projectile size. So a radius of 1 is their size plus 1. And changing it to 1.25 actually increases the effective area of that circle by quite a bit over 1. Don't get me wrong, it's not 25% extra, but it is meaningful, and it's a hard one because I know Hanzo's been struggling massively, but I think he's been struggling more so because they fucking demolished his entire player base in season 9, and nobody plays Hanzo because of it. They keep introducing characters that are strictly better than him in Freya and Sojourn, and then they pay him no love whatsoever, and then they remove the only reason people play him, so all the Hanzo players quit, and Hanzo's the character that actually needs a modicum of skill in order to be able to use. At least they're not changing his projectile speed. That's nice. Like, changing his drop-off every 5 minutes is a real bad thing. So this is probably the way to do it if you're going to do it. But you're solving a problem that was introduced by you, quite frankly. Ult cost reduced by 8%. Damage per second increased to 400. Why? Oh, because you made it worse in the other patch. So you needed to make it better again. Is that it? So Trance officially dead in a ditch. Is that what we're saying? Grav Dragon, guaranteed team fight every single time. That'll cut through beat at 400, right? Hanzo players moved to rivals? No, genuinely, they did. So it now cuts through beat in 2 seconds. So you can't even beat a Grav Dragon. Transcendence also got buffed accordingly to 400. What's 400? Wait, you got buffed to 4. But there's a DPS passive. Dragon's going to be dealing 120 DPS to everyone in Trance. Is that what you're telling me? 120 DPS, why? So you literally killed the ult by completely removing all the zoning potential, right? And now you're buffing the DPS? I think Trance probably needed a bit of... I think Trance is probably one of the layovers of the abilities that didn't receive a buff from season 9. It's one of the lag behind ones. Before, 300 HPS was an infinite amount of HPS. Now it's not, so I guess it's fine for Trance to be buffed. I don't understand why this happens, though. Just so you can assassinate people with Dragon Bear? There's no even react time anymore. Didn't we like the kind of Overwatch better when it was a zoning ult? Didn't we like the kind of Overwatch that could have zoning ults in it more? Why can't we have a zoning ult anymore? Technically, you'll only take 200 damage since it's per dragon. So if you're at the edge, you'll survive. Yeah, isn't it kind of like a central hitbox and a bigger hitbox? Get ready for Weaver meta. I think good Hanzo as well. It'd be nice to be able to play Hanzo again. I'd much rather zoning ults matter. 6v6 Grav Dragon's going to be oppressive as hell. Wait, there's more buffs. Dragon Fury, 2 seconds. That's a layover after hitting a shot to increase your bow speed, isn't it? 25% for 2 seconds. Wall climb accelerates your lunge cooldown by 300%, and that's been improved from 250. It's really good. The increase of 2 shots is massive. You know what? I try and be positive about patches, and I think this is a cool perk, right? It's just one of those that if you got a wall climb reset, that would be quite cool. You could just wall climb gate something, lunge, wall climb gate something, lunge. The reason why Grav Dragon was interesting was because the Grav zoned people into an area that a zoning ult could kill through. That's the reason why Grav Dragon was interesting, right? The Grav pulls them in, the zoning ult goes in. If you're just going to throw an ult that can kill anyway into a Grav, anything can get thrown into it at that point. It was a use for this that quadrupled the value you can get. It's just so much, it's so homogenized, man. The more you buff Trank Healing and Dragon to compensate for the Zen buff, the higher Dragon sales as a percentage of the DPS passive will affect larger numbers more. So buffing Dragon and Chance actually hurts them more. Yeah. Only against, well, no, not only against Dragon, but yeah. The Dragon stuff is just so sad to me because we used to have something better and they just removed it for really no reason. Junk. Minor perk now prevents trapped enemies from being healed instead of revealing them through walls. Wasn't everyone happy about the reveal through walls? Call me a dumbass, but wasn't that something people thought was generically positive? Weren't we all happy about this? Wasn't this a good thing? Now antis people? But it's just tank hate, right? So this is just put it down on the corner and hope the enemy ram walks into it and then they die instantly if they do. Nobody cared about the wall hack, it did practically air. That's true, but I think it was a positive improvement to the ability. And I think people also agreed that the ability probably didn't need to be front and center in the kit as well. Most just picked the tire perk? Yeah, because the tire perks are ridiculously strong compared to it. Throw it at the tank that presses W, it's going to wreck brawl dive tanks and do nothing but poke. Just stay poking. Oh man. I always forget that all cool things about a kit now need to go into a perk instead of being just put on the kit. We put it in base kit? Yeah, we put it in base kit. Okay, let's just... Don't tell anyone. How hard is that to destroy before it deploys if it just arrives at your feet? That was my first attempt, by the way, at just throwing it in his general direction. I hit him. Yeah, you can't kill it in midair. You can only kill it while it's setting up. And I feel like that's no time, right? It can't be Suzu? Yeah, you can't Suzu trap stuff. You never could Suzu active effects. Can't break it till it deploys. But sure you can break it. Yeah, but there's a second before it's active, right? Recovery time. Yeah, so 0.75 seconds. Can't be blocked by shields? No, you can block it with the shield though. It bounces off the shield, so. I mean, yeah, you can't block because if you throw it at their feet, it's gonna go anyway. It's not like you're applying it to them, you're applying it to the floor in front of them, and you better deal 100 damage in 0.75 seconds skill issue. Orisa can ignore it with Fortify. New junk meta where good junk players start Kobeing traps at the tank from 40 meters away. Kobe! No, I'm a bad junk player. Kobe! Genuinely, if that didn't have such a long cooldown, it's probably the best use for it, actually, isn't it? It's genuinely probably the best use. You come around the corner, Kobe. If they get in it, they just die immediately. Conk arming time reduced. Arming time? Oh, it's on the perk, isn't it? Sorry, I'm tired. Is it possible they just had different goals? I think the goals are pretty obvious here. I think the goals are just to strengthens 0.25 seconds after landing, increasing damage by 50, explosion by 50, by 200. Oh, Call of Blizzard is that we stay poking, brothers. I love buffing Junkrat. I love buffing long range rock. I love Rhine charge perk. See, the thing is, Junk Trap at a certain point had its place in the video game. It was always fine, right? It was always fine. It wasn't why you played the character, but it was an okay amount of angle control in kind of an annoying but non-core to the kit kind of way. Because the rest of the kit was very obviously the 2-tap. And that was cool. Oh, it's just, is that little beep, is it? Oh. That's no delay at all. That's it. That's a delay. Oh. It's pretty clear what their aims are. Their aims are to cater to the Season 9 5v5 mode. That's basically it. That's their aims. And aside from that, their aim is to make all the perks roughly equal in terms of pick rate, plus or minus a little bit. And they consider anything that's not being picked to be problematic or something they have to change, because clearly people aren't enjoying it. And I think they're kind of like doing that at the expense of anything else, right? I don't get me wrong, I think they do have considerations for what is reasonable, what is fun to play against, but for the most part, if the idea of the perks is bad, they're not going back and rejigging it. They're just making that idea work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 and a bit. 113. Oh. The playstyles they want for the perks are already here. I mean, it is what it is. You think you still pick Frag Launcher? Yeah, but surely TikTok's just a low-rank squisher. Couldn't even begin to guess the reasoning behind 90% of the changes they made. If you told me it was literally random, I'd believe you, so I had to guess. No, well, they said it's just, yeah, it's win rates and pick rates. Number changes based on keeping the hero fantasy intact. Yeah, pretty much. This is pointless and wrong direction, but doesn't really matter. The Ashe one's fine. Winston is neither here nor there. Sigma, we've tested this. This is actively bad. This is actively oppressive. This is actively boring. And this is just a bad perk that shouldn't be in the game. This is just perk creep, just to keep it being picked. This is Orisa's micro buff / micro nerf of the month. This is just 20 extra damage onto heavy rockets because it wasn't being picked enough, because the shields are ridiculously good. So like, you either get to choose ridiculously good shields, or you get to choose to instantly fucking delete whoever you want. So we only came here for the 6v6 changes. To be clear, everyone, these are all the 6v6 changes we're getting. Reaper ult cost increased by 9%. They increased the damage, so that probably makes sense. That makes sense, right? Pulse pistols spread increased. Do we want a closer range Tracer? So we've increased the damage, now we've increased the spread. So Tracer's effectively closer range than she was, but about as effective as she was before, right? Yeah. They didn't want to nerf the damage to look stupid, so they nerfed range. Do we want Tracer to be closer range? That do more or less the same? The idea behind this would be Tracer wasn't able to one-tap quite as effectively as we wanted her to. I don't think Tracer has the space for this in 5v5, personally, to me. I think this is probably better for 6v6, but it makes Tracer shoot tank. Shoot tank or all in on an assassination, I guess. It's more healthy for 6v6, because I think 6v6 tanks can handle Tracer shooting tank more. But 5v5, I think this kills the Tracer and makes her, like, worse. Because I always say about the spreads and the projectile increases in terms of the speed and other things like that. And I always say, like, they're so sad. Because they're necessary for 5v5. But I do think they're necessary for 5v5, right? Like, I do think it's necessary for DPS to be able to 1v1 DPS in a punchy way, for 5v5 to be able to exist in a good way. And if you make it so that Tracer can't hit on tanks because the tanks have enough health so that it's not really effective, and you also make it so that Tracers can't poke, I guess, it's another Season 9 DPS passive change, isn't it? It's another character that you can't poke on, that you just have to all in on instead of using your health in a slow way. It's another, I blink in, I try and one-clip someone, I get out, I have loads of downtime, right? It's a passivity, passive, all-in thing. I don't know why the game by changing this, considering she was fine before the original damage buff. You think we have a plan? Ult cross decreased by 10%, whatever. Sure. You get Season 9 every season now, aren't you happy? Honey, it's time to eat your plus 5% DPS passive. It's been a week. No poking, ever. No using your resources in a normal way. Just fucking all in. Or AFK. You can AFK if you want to. You don't have to go all in. You could AFK. But, like, if you want to go all in, you're going to have to do it all at once. Mediblaster, minimum fall-off range increased from 20 to 25 meters. I feel like 20 was a bit limiting. What do you guys think? Do you know, Dad? Oh no, what's happening? Glide boost ability 1, movement acceleration in air reduced when changing directions. So do you think that this wasn't intentional in the first place? Do you think they didn't mean to do this? When they made it instant air strafing, do you think it was an accident? At least now she can go to 250. It was for Stadium Juno, not main game Juno. No, the sad part, Didact. She's not dead. She's not dead. She's just going to be played further back. She's just going to be played in Narnia. You're just going to be able to be less aggressive and less interesting on her. It's crazy hard to hit a Juno that knew how to move. It's not like Mercy, though, when the movement is a strength. Yeah, but the other thing is, the Juno movement was actually reasonably hard. You remember the first couple of weeks of Juno releasing? Where Juno was... Nobody kind of knew why she was good yet. They didn't realize that, oh, we just burst when things happen, right? The bare minimum of knowledge that somehow people weren't able to get in immediately. Like, I saw the kit and I was like, oh, you press the buttons and go. It's like, oh, we press 1, 2, 3. Oh, you just press buttons. Okay, fair enough. But people took ages to get to being able to control Juno. And I'll be honest, low ranks still probably aren't there. So basically, this has removed the only bit of Juno's skill curve that existed from low to mid ranks. And now Juno at high rank is just, there's nothing there. It's not a hero anymore. It's just slob. Nobody will play her in pro other than for ring now. Like, she's just worse in surviving than any other support. That's true. That's true. They will play her for ring though. No, I agree, it is crazy hard to hit a Juno that knows how to move. However, like, people didn't know how to play this fucking character, like, below Diamond. They still don't. They didn't know that AD strafing was good, they didn't know it was strong. Maybe they should make it so that you can have 2 boosts of Glider, if you want to do this. You circle strafe? Yeah, you can do circle around there, but... ultimate cost increase by 9%, they increase the healing. That's not proportionate to the increased healing, but I assume that's their logic. Here at Blizzard, we make everything feel worse every patch instead of addressing core fundamental issues the characters kept. Anyway, hope you enjoy our upcoming change. Ram has a 3-second animation on transforming into Nemesis form. The cooldown has been increased to 10 seconds. It's already 10 seconds in 66. Healing increased from 30 to 35 health per second. I think that's good. They should have hit like 40. 40 was healthy. I think it was 42.5 to heal 100 health at the same rate. Comparatively to how Anna healed it prior to DPS passive. So this isn't good enough, but it is good. Maybe they heard me, who knows? All changes to compensate DPS passive buff? Yeah, basically. I mean, he's already been nerfed by 30%. Just like, take off 10, add 5. Yeah, so looking back through this, a bad perk, a bad ability. D.Va has way too much lethality, and that lethality translates directly to 6v6 in an impressive way. In 5v5, that might be necessary in order to keep her lethal enough in order to be able to kill stuff. In 6v6, this is just horribly oppressive if it gets to see play. This one, and I get it, I get to play both sides of the aisle here. I get to do that. Haha is bad because 5v5 and the haha is bad because 6v6, but I genuinely do feel like there is an easy way to pull both of these at the same time. This is just, honey, your nerfs are inbound. This is, I don't really care. I don't really like it as a perk. But then again, as I say, Reinhardt's just been completely left behind by DPS passive because you can't use resources to do things anymore. The only resources you have are the health bar, and if they increase his health bar anymore, he's just going to clobber low ranks. There's nothing they can do. They're between a rock and a hard place. All they can do is just increase and increase and increase and increase his speed and the reward he gets from going fast over and over and over again until he's the same generalist slop as Ram and Junker Queen and other things like that, and Hazard, right? He's still not going to pick the perk, as if he hits shift, he goes boom. Deployment cooldown reduced from 2 to 1 second. This is actively bad. This is a bad perk. This is fine. This is fine. A little bit worried about that, but that's fine. That's okay-ish, because the ult's terrible. And I think it still costs quite a lot, if I'm not mistaken. Why is the 6 shield change bad? Because shield dancing on Sigma is incredibly oppressive to the majority of ranks. It's really good for the Sigma. We tried it out in our pugs last week, actually, Ron, and it turned out completely unnecessary for the character to enjoy it, and so oppressive to other people. Survived everything. Yeah, it massively increased your self-sustain, because you can just place your shield, they rush you, you can recall it and replace it like 1 second. This is a question mark, question mark, question mark. Actively bad? This is fine. Not good, but fine. Hanzo needs to find a place. They've killed all the Hanzo mains and they all moved to our rivals, so I guess they need to throw him a bone. This is another big buff, like these two together, big buffs here. This is a still unpickable perk. Ultimate cost reduced by 8%, and then damage per second increase. big buffs. Do they not see the issues with Freya, or are they just rage baiting us? They seem to think that the double shot, being able to two-shot people's toes is core to the hero design. I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else here. They just consider changing that breakpoint to be impossible. Yeah, it's literally Sojourn. Literally Sojourn. 1-to-1, isn't it? We will not increase primary fire projectile speed. We will not increase primary fire projectile speed. 3 years go by. Oh, yeah, I guess we'll increase it. I mean, that rail's a bit oppressive, guys. They saw 90% ban rate, then proceed to change the only part of the kit that was already bad. Yeah, I mean, this is the part of the kit that they should be leaning on in order to make it more reasonable, but they're just leaning further into it. This is... If this is good, this is impressive. They might have to increase the arm time on that. It's not going to be a trap anymore. It's going to be fucking explosive. So this TikTok is hate on low ranks. Ult cost increased by Reaper. Whatever. Spread angle. Actively bad with the other two. I don't think that works at all in 5v5. I think it's reasonably healthy for 6v6. So I think you can handle a lot more tank hate in 6v6. I don't care. Question mark. Big question marks here. Juno now plays in Narnia. Ult cost increased. Sure. Healing. Good. Trans healing, probably good, because that was one of the things left over. Making both perks viable is a good goal. I question their ability to be able to do it. Yeah, especially when you see things like the Hanzo major perks, right? Like, these two are not even slightly comparable, right? Not even close.